In a busy city, there was a small but popular restaurant. It was known for good food and quiet, friendly service. People from all over the city liked to come here to eat. The restaurant was not very big, but it had a warm feeling. The walls were painted soft yellow, and there were small wooden tables covered with white cloth. Soft music played in the background, and the waiters and waitresses moved quietly, making sure each customer felt comfortable. One of the waitresses was Lisa. She was a young black woman in her late 20s. Lisa was kind and worked very hard every day. She smiled politely at customers and did her best to serve them well. She liked her job because it gave her a chance to meet many different people, but not every day was easy for Lisa. Some customers were nice, but others were not. Among all the customers, there was one man everyone knew by name, but nobody liked much. He was a millionaire, very rich and famous in the city. People called him Mr. Davis. He came to the restaurant often. Sometimes he came alone, and sometimes with friends. He was always dressed in expensive clothes, wearing a big watch and shiny shoes. Everyone could tell he had a lot of money, but what made Mr. Davis known was not just his money. It was how rude he was to everyone around him. The other waiters and waitresses whispered about him behind his back. They said he was harsh, mean, and hard to please. Mr. Davis never smiled. He often complained loudly, shouting at the staff for small mistakes. If his food was not perfect, he would call the chef and say harsh words. If his drink was late, he would glare at the waiters as if they had done something wrong. Most of the restaurant staff were afraid of him. They knew he had power because he was rich. If he was unhappy, he could stop coming, and that would be bad for the restaurant business. So, many people tried to stay out of his way and obey everything he said. But the way Mr. Davis spoke was painful for those who served him. He did not care about their feelings. He only cared about himself and his comfort. Lisa, being a black woman, sometimes felt extra pressure. She noticed that Mr. Davis seemed to be more rude to her than to others. When she brought his order, he often frowned and said things like, "This is not what I asked for," or "Can you do your job properly?" Other waitresses saw this and felt sorry for Lisa. They told her to be patient and just keep doing her work well. But it was not easy. One afternoon, the restaurant was busy with many customers. The sun was shining through the windows, making the room bright and warm. Lisa was moving from table to table, carrying plates of food and filling glasses with water. She was tired, but kept smiling. Then, Mr. Davis walked in. His face was serious, and his eyes looked around the room. Everyone felt a little nervous when they saw him. Mr. Davis sat at his usual table near the window. Lisa took his order. He asked for his favorite dish, steak with vegetables, and a glass of expensive red wine. She wrote everything down carefully and went to the kitchen. After some time, she brought the food to his table. But Mr. Davis looked at the plate and shook his head. "This is not how I like it," he said loudly. "I told you no vegetables on the side, only potatoes. Are you paying attention or not?" Lisa felt her face become hot. She tried to stay calm and polite. "I'm sorry, sir. I will take it back and get the potatoes for you," she said softly. She took the plate and walked back to the kitchen. The other staff watched her. They knew this was not the first time Mr. Davis had treated her this way. Some felt sad, but no one said anything. They all feared the millionaire's anger. Lisa wished she could tell him how much his words hurt her. But she was afraid of losing her job or making the situation worse. Days passed. And every time Mr. Davis came, Lisa felt more nervous. He often found small mistakes to complain about. If the water glass was not filled exactly, he would call her back. If the steak was not cooked just right, he would demand a new one. He seemed to enjoy showing his power over the staff, so other customers noticed, but no one spoke up. The restaurant manager also avoided getting involved. She wanted to keep the millionaire happy for business reasons. Lisa talked to some of her co-workers during breaks. They all agreed Mr. Davis was difficult. Some said they had seen him treat other staff badly, but no one wanted to be the one to stand up to him. "He has so much money," one waiter said quietly. "If he gets angry, it's bad news for us." Lisa understood this, but inside, she felt something was wrong. Why should one person's money make others live in fear. Why should a millionaire treat people like they were less important? She wanted to find a way to handle the situation, but she wasn't sure how. One afternoon, after a long day, Lisa sat in the staff room with two other waitresses. They talked quietly. "I don't like how he talks to me," Lisa said. "What can I do? If I say something, he might never come here again, and the manager might blame me." Her friend Sarah nodded. "I know, Lisa. It's hard. But sometimes I think, what if we all stay quiet? Will he keep doing this to us? Maybe. If someone speaks up, things can change." Lisa looked thoughtful. "Maybe you're right, but I'm scared." Sarah smiled gently. "We all are. But maybe we can find a way together." That night, Lisa went home thinking about the millionaire. She remembered the times he had made her feel small and unimportant. But she also thought about the customers who smiled at her, the friends who supported her, and the hope for a better place to work. She decided she would watch and learn more. Maybe one day she could stand up for herself, not with anger, but with calm and strength. She wanted to believe that respect could win over fear, even with someone like Mr. Davis at the same time. Some regular customers started to notice Mr. Davis's rude behavior. Few whispered to each other, surprised by how harsh he was. They admired Lisa for staying polite and strong, even when he was mean. Some began to hope that one day the millionaire's power to frighten people would end. The restaurant carried on as usual with its warm light and quiet music, but inside, the air felt different. A small but growing courage was stirring. Ready to face the fear that had ruled the place for too long, Lisa did not know yet what the future held. But she was beginning to understand something important, that kindness and respect are stronger than money and fear, and that even one person's voice can start a change. After the quiet morning, the restaurant grew busier and louder as the day went on. Customers came in to eat lunch, talk with friends, and relax. Lisa moved quickly between tables, taking orders and serving food with her usual smile. But in the back of her mind, she still thought about Mr. Davis, the rude millionaire who made her job so hard. On this day, Mr. Davis came in again just after noon. The moment he walked through the door, the atmosphere in the restaurant changed. The other staff saw him and quickly straightened up. Some even stopped what they were doing to watch what he would do next. Lisa took a deep breath and prepared to serve him again. Mr. Davis sat at his usual table near the window. He did not say hello to anyone. He looked tired and serious. Lisa went over with the menu, ready to take his order. But as always, he seemed unhappy from the start. "Bring me the usual," he said, barely looking at the menu. "Make sure the steak is cooked medium rare. No mistakes this time." Lisa nodded politely and wrote down the order. She felt a little nervous, but reminded herself to stay calm. She knew she had to do her best, while waiting for the kitchen to prepare the food. Lisa noticed other customers watching quietly. They seemed to understand the tension between Mr. Davis and the staff. Some gave Lisa small smiles or kind looks, trying to show their support. It helped her feel less alone. When the food arrived, Lisa carefully placed the plate in front of Mr. Davis. But before she could step back, he looked at the steak and frowned. "This is overcooked," he shouted loudly. "Who made this? Do you want to lose your job?" Lisa felt her heart race. She wanted to explain politely that she was just the waitress, not the cook. But she did not want to argue in front of everyone. "I'm sorry, sir. I will take it back and get a new one for you," she said softly. Mr. Davis rolled his eyes and waved his hand. "Make it quick." Lisa took the plate and walked back to the kitchen. Her hands shook a little, but she stayed focused. The chef quickly agreed to make a new steak, knowing how important it was to please Mr. Davis, while waiting for the new meal. Lisa sat down for a short break with two co-workers, Sarah and Michael. They talked quietly about the difficult day. "Mr. Davis is impossible to please," Michael said. "I don't understand why the manager lets him treat us like this." Sarah nodded. "I heard the manager worries about losing his business, but I think we deserve respect no matter what." Lisa looked at her friends and said, "I want to speak up, but I'm scared. What if I lose my job? Or what if he gets even worse?" Sarah smiled gently. I feel the same way, Lisa, but maybe if we all support each other, it will be easier. Just then, the new steak arrived. Lisa went back to Mr. Davis's table and carefully served it. This time, he took a small bite and nodded, but only barely. Better, he said. Make sure the wine is cold. Lisa poured the wine carefully and stepped back. Mr. Davis drank silently, looking around the restaurant. Then he said something that surprised Lisa. You waitresses do okay sometimes, he said quietly, but I don't like slow service. Lisa did not know how to respond. She just smiled and said, Thank you, sir. After Mr. Davis finished his meal, he called Lisa over again. This time it was not about food or drink. Why do you always look so calm when I am rude? He asked. Lisa thought for a moment and answered honestly. I try to be kind because everyone deserves respect, even when things are hard. Mr. Davis was silent for a moment. Then he said, Not many people say that to me. Lisa smiled softly and said, Maybe people are afraid. But kindness is stronger than fear. Mr. Davis looked at her, then nodded slowly. He paid the bill without another word and left the restaurant. After he left, the staff talked quietly. They were surprised by his words. Lisa felt proud but also worried about what might happen next time. In the days that followed, Mr. Davis came back several times. Sometimes he was more polite, other times he was still rude. But Lisa noticed a small change. He rarely shouted as loudly as before. One afternoon, Lisa served a group of regular customers who often came to the restaurant. They told her they had noticed her calm and strong attitude with Mr. Davis. You? Handle him well, one man said kindly. I admire your patience. Lisa felt happy to hear this. It gave her hope that things might get better. But then, one day, something different happened. Mr. Davis came in very angry. He stormed through the restaurant, slamming the door behind him. Everyone stopped what they were doing and watched. He went straight to his table and called Lisa over loudly. This steak is cold, he said angrily. How do you expect me to eat this? Lisa took a deep breath and said calmly, I'm sorry, sir. I will get you a new one right away. Mr. Davis looked surprised by her calm voice. He seemed to expect her to be scared or angry back. Lisa went to the kitchen and told the chef about the cold steak. The chef quickly prepared a new meal. When Lisa brought the hot steak, Mr. Davis took a bite and nodded. Then he said something. Unexpected, you don't seem like the others. You have strength? He said quietly. Lisa looked at him and smiled. Thank you, sir. The restaurant manager came over and said to Mr. Davis, We want everyone to feel respected here. That includes our staff. Mr. Davis looked at the manager and then at Lisa. He nodded and left without any more complaints. That day, Lisa realized something important. Even though Mr. Davis was still hard to deal with, her calm and respectful attitude was making a difference. More and more customers started to talk quietly about how the Millionaire was changing. Some said they admired Lisa's courage. Others said they hoped the restaurant would become a kinder place for everyone. Lisa talked to her coworkers and said, Maybe we don't have to fear him forever. Maybe kindness and courage can change things. Her friends smiled and agreed. Lisa felt stronger than ever. She knew the road ahead might still be difficult, but she was ready to face it. She understood that standing up for respect did not mean being loud or angry. It meant being calm, kind, and true to herself. And for the first time in a long while, Lisa hoped that respect, not fear, would win. The days passed and Lisa continued to work hard in the restaurant. She served many customers with her usual warm smile. Some regular guests came just to see her because they liked her kindness and calm way of handling tough situations. But Mr. Davis, the rude millionaire, still came often. His visits were always a little tense. Sometimes he was quiet and cold. Other times, he would complain loudly and make the staff nervous. One busy evening, the restaurant was full of customers. The soft music played, plates clinked, and voices mixed in a gentle buzz. Lisa was running between tables, making sure everyone had what they needed. She felt tired, but happy to be working in a place she cared about. Suddenly the door opened. With a loud bang, everyone turned to look. Mr. Davis had arrived. His face looked angry and tired. He walked quickly to his usual table near the window. Lisa felt her heart beat faster. She knew this might be a difficult night. Mr. Davis called Lisa over with a sharp tone. "Bring me the steak. Medium rare. And don't make any mistakes," he said loudly, making the other customers look. Lisa nodded quietly. She wrote down his order and went to the kitchen. The chefs noticed the tension in the air and worked quickly. While waiting, Lisa talked softly with her coworkers. They were all nervous. Some said they wished Mr. Davis would be kinder. Others hoped Lisa would be okay. No one said what Lisa was thinking. Maybe it was time to stop being afraid. When Lisa brought the steak to Mr. Davis, he looked at it carefully. Suddenly his face changed. He frowned deeply and shouted, "This is not medium rare. You ruined it. Are you trying to make me look stupid?" Lisa felt the eyes of all the customers on her. She felt the heat rise in her cheeks. But instead of shrinking back, she took a deep breath and looked at Mr. Davis with calm eyes. "I'm sorry, sir," she said softly but firmly. "I will take it back and bring you a new steak. But please, I ask you to speak to me with respect." Grew quiet. No one expected Lisa to say this. Mr. Davis looked shocked. His face showed anger, but also surprise. He did not know how to respond. Lisa continued, "We all want to do a good job here. We want you to enjoy your meal, but it is hard to do that. When you speak to us like this..." Mr. Davis's eyes moved around the room. Some customers nodded slightly. Others held their breath, waiting for what he would say. Finally, Mr. Davis's voice softened. "You are different from the others," he said slowly. "I'm used to people being afraid of me. But you stand up for yourself." Lisa smiled. Gently, "I believe everyone deserves respect, no matter who they are." The manager came over quietly and said, "We want to create a place where everyone feels safe and respected. That includes our customers and our staff." Mr. Davis looked at the manager and then back at Lisa. He seemed to think for a moment. Then, to everyone's surprise, he said, "Fine, I will try to be better." He ate the steak without complaint after that. The restaurant slowly returned to its normal sounds and activities. After Mr. Davis left, the staff gathered around Lisa. They cheered softly and smiled. They felt proud of her courage. One of the waiters said, "Lisa, that was amazing. You stood up to him and did it with kindness." "I wish I had your strength." Lisa shook her head. "It was not easy. But I realized that fear only gives him power. When we stand with respect, we take back our power." Another waitress said, "Maybe this is the start of a new time here. Maybe no one needs to be scared anymore." Lisa felt a warm feeling inside. For the first time, she believed change was possible. In the days that followed, Mr. Davis's visits became less stressful. He still had moments of impatience, but he no longer shouted or insulted the staff openly. Lisa noticed he even said thank you. Sometimes more customers talked about the change. Some said they wanted to come more often because the restaurant felt more friendly. The manager thanked Lisa and promised to support the staff more. Lisa and her coworkers started to feel like a team. They shared ideas on how to make the restaurant better for everyone. They helped each other when things got busy. And they no longer felt afraid of Mr. Davis. One afternoon, a group of regular customers came in. They asked to speak with Lisa. They told her how much they admired her calm courage. One woman said, "You showed us all that respect and kindness can make a difference." Even with someone as difficult as Mr. Davis, Lisa smiled and said, "I did not do it alone." We all have to believe in respect. It starts with one person, but it grows when we stand together. As the weeks went by, the restaurant became a place where respect was expected. No one was allowed to be rude or disrespectful. If a customer behaved badly, the manager spoke with them kindly but clearly. The staff felt safer and happier. Lisa knew that the road ahead was still long. Sometimes old habits were hard to change. But she was ready. She had learned that standing up with kindness and calm could break fear's hold. One evening, as Lisa cleaned up after closing time, she thought about how much had changed. The rude millionaire who once scared everyone was still coming, but he was different. She was different too. She smiled to herself and said quietly, "Respect is stronger than fear, and no one should ever be afraid to stand up for themselves." The restaurant was calm one afternoon when something unexpected happened. Lisa was working as usual, serving customers with her warm smile. The place was busy, but peaceful. Shh. Suddenly the door opened, and Mr. Davis walked in. But this time, he did not look angry or tired. His face was serious, and his eyes looked around the room. Lisa saw him and felt a little nervous, but she stayed calm. She went to take his order as she always did. Mr. Davis asked for his usual meal, steak with potatoes, and a glass of red wine. Lisa wrote down the order and went to the kitchen. As the kitchen prepared the food, Lisa noticed something strange. Mr. Davis was sitting quietly, not complaining or talking loudly like before. When Lisa brought the food, he looked at the plate, carefully but did not say anything, ate slowly and without a word. After he finished eating, Mr. Davis called Lisa over. His voice was low but firm. "I want to talk," he said. Lisa felt surprised but nodded. They went to a quiet corner of the restaurant where no one could hear them. Mr. Davis looked at Lisa and said, "You were the first person who stood up to me. You did it with respect, and I didn't expect that." Lisa listened carefully, waiting for him to say more. He continued, "I have been rude to many people because I am used to getting what I want. When I don't get it, I get angry. But you made me see something different," Lisa said softly. "I believe everyone deserves respect no matter who they are. Even when people are difficult, kindness can change things." Mr. Davis nodded slowly. "I realize I have been wrong. I don't want to be a man who scares people. I want to change, but it is hard." Lisa smiled gently. "Change is not easy for anyone, but it is possible, and you don't have to do it alone." At that moment, the restaurant manager came over and joined the conversation. She said, "We want to help everyone here feel safe and respected. That includes you, Mr. Davis. We all have a role to play." Mr. Davis looked around at the staff and customers nearby. Some smiled kindly, showing their support. He sighed and said, "I understand. I want to be better. I want to stop being the man everyone fears." After that day, the restaurant began to change in more ways than one. Mr. Davis still came often, but he no longer acted like a rude millionaire who could say anything and get away with it. Instead, he tried to be polite and patient. Sometimes he even asked Lisa how her day was going. Lisa and the other staff noticed the difference. They no longer felt afraid when he arrived. Instead, they felt hopeful. Customers noticed too. Some said they were happy to see kindness growing in a place that once felt tense. One afternoon, a group of regular customers came in to celebrate Lisa's courage. They brought flowers and kind words. They told her how much she had inspired them and the entire staff. Lisa felt grateful but said, "This is not just my courage. It is all of us standing together." It showed that respect is more powerful than fear. Manager thanked Lisa and promised to make sure the restaurant stayed a safe and kind place for everyone. She said no one should live in fear at work. We must all support each other. Lisa and her coworkers began new meetings to share their feelings and ideas. They talked about how to handle difficult customers and how to support each other better. The restaurant became more than a place to eat. It became a community. Even Mr. Davis joined some meetings. He wanted to learn how to be respectful and kind. He admitted his mistakes and asked for help to change. The staff was surprised but welcomed his efforts. One evening, Lisa thought about how much had changed since the first day she stood up to Mr. Davis. She remembered feeling scared and alone. Now, she felt strong and supported. She knew that standing up for respect had not only changed her life, but also the lives of many others. The rude millionaire had become a man trying to be better because one brave woman believed in kindness. Lisa smiled and said quietly, "Respect and courage can change even the hardest hearts." No one is too far gone to change. The restaurant continued to grow in kindness and respect. The customers came for the good food and the warm feeling. The staff worked happily, knowing they were valued. And Lisa, she became a symbol of strength and hope, showing everyone that one voice, one action, can change a whole world. After many weeks of change, the restaurant had become a very different place. The air no longer felt heavy with fear. Instead, it was light and warm, full of smiles and kind words. Lisa and the other staff worked happily, knowing that their voices mattered. The customers could feel it too. They came back not just for the food, but for the friendly, respectful atmosphere, Mr. Davis. The millionaire, who had once been so rude and feared by everyone, was still coming to the restaurant. But now, he was a changed man. He greeted the staff politely, spoke kindly, and no longer shouted or complained loudly. He was learning how to treat people with respect, and the staff responded with kindness. One afternoon, Lisa was cleaning the tables when a new customer walked in. He was a young man, looking around the restaurant carefully. Lisa smiled and welcomed him warmly. The young man looked surprised by the friendliness and said, "I heard this place is special because of the staff. I wanted to see for myself." Lisa felt proud and said, "We believe everyone deserves respect, and we work hard to make sure people feel welcome here." The young man smiled and said, "It shows. I can feel the difference." Lisa thought about how far the restaurant had come. She remembered when Mr. Davis first came in, scaring everyone with his anger. She thought about how she had been scared, but decided to stand up with kindness. She realized that small actions could lead to big changes. That evening, as the restaurant closed, Lisa and her coworkers gathered in the staff room. They shared stories of the past weeks, the times when they felt scared, the moments of courage, and the changes they had seen. They laughed and smiled, feeling like a family. The manager joined them and said, "I am proud of all of you. Have shown that respect and courage can change even the hardest situations. This restaurant is a better place because of you." Lisa looked around and said, "I want to thank everyone. We stood together and made a difference. No one should live in fear, and no one should feel powerless." The staff agreed, and from that day, they promised to always support each other and stand up for kindness. The story of the rude millionaire and the brave black waitress spread beyond the restaurant. People in the city heard how one woman's calm courage had changed a man and a whole place. It inspired others to believe that respect and kindness could overcome fear and rudeness. Lisa knew that life would still have challenges. Sometimes people would be difficult or mean, but she also knew that standing up with kindness was a powerful choice. It was a choice she made every day. One morning, a new customer came in and asked for Lisa by name. He said, "I've heard about you. You're the woman who changed a millionaire's heart." "That's amazing." Lisa smiled and said, "It was not just me. It was all of us believing in respect and kindness." The customer nodded and said, "Your story gives me hope." Lisa felt happy. She understood that hope was a gift that could grow and spread. Years later, Lisa still worked at the restaurant. She had become a leader among the staff, always encouraging kindness and respect. The restaurant had become a place where everyone, no matter who they were, felt safe and valued. And the millionaire? He had become a different man. He learned that money was not the most important thing in life. Respect, kindness, and courage were stronger than wealth. The story ends with Lisa standing by the window of the restaurant, looking out at the busy city streets. She thought about how one small act of courage had changed many lives. She smiled softly and whispered, "Respect is the greatest power we have, and no one should ever be afraid to use it."